Morning, this is cause number 2020-12660 in the interest of Sebastian Chapo Rey Gutierrez. Please, all parties raise your right hands to be sworn. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, ma'am, please state your name and your relationship to the child.
My name is Sarah Plunkett. I'm his mother.
Sir, your name and your relationship to the child.
My name is Furman Gutierrez. I'm the father of the child.
And for the state.
Sade Parker for the state, Your Honor.
All right, we've got an original petition in a suit affecting parent-child relationship with an AOP. We're having a hearing. Do we have any stipulations?
Yes, Your Honor, we have some stipulations. The stipulations are for child support of $445 a month, cash medical.
Say again, 400 and what?
45, Your Honor.
All right.
45, cash medical of 100. The child resides with mom, and they both agree to communication via app close, electronic communication via app close.
All right.
And those are the stipulations that we have at this time.
And is that correct, Mr. Gutierrez, as far as you're concerned?
Yes.
And Ms. Plunkett? All right. And what are the issues?
Okay.
What are the issues, Ms. Parker?
The issues are we have a non-disclosure, whether the conservatorship is JMC, Joint Managing Conservatorship, or SMC, and Ms. Plunkett is requesting supervised visitation through the DRO, and Mr. Gutierrez would like to have a standard possession order. And also for the month of September, we are requesting retro for that month, and Mr. Gutierrez would like credit.
You're asking for retro for a 1 month period, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let's proceed.
Your Honor, I would like to call Sarah Plunkett.
Okay.
Yes.
Ms. Plunkett, do you believe that you and Mr. Gutierrez would be able to successfully communicate and co-parent about your child at this time?
Not without a third party. No, ma'am.
And why not without a third party?
We end up arguing too much and just don't agree on certain things. And I just don't want there to be any further tension. And I'd like this entire transition to be as smooth as it can be, because it is hard on everyone.
Yes, and when you talk about transition, what is the transition that you're talking about?
We're no longer obviously together, and he doesn't see his child or have anything to do with him. I don't feel as though Furman is ready to have one-on-one alone time. He has been violent with me in the past, as well as all of my children, Sebastian included. And he just gets angry quickly and doesn't necessarily know exactly how to take care of him at this point. And I just know that he needs to have some parenting classes and really kind of regroup and stuff. And I don't want this to be a permanent thing. I want him to be able to see his son. And I do want things to get better, but I just know right now it's very much a mess, and I need to protect our child.
Okay. Does Furman currently have a protective order against him with your other child?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And what was that protective order put in place for?
Furman, I guess, grabbed my son or pushed him in the throat and slammed him to the ground twice. My son had a bloody mouth and he ended up with a concussion. and needed to be in the hospital. So the state did do an emergency protective order so that he cannot have contact with that child.
How old is that child?
13, sir.
All right.
And when was that protective order signed?
It went into place on August the 24th of 2020.
And how long is it good for?
61 days from the date it was signed.
And are you currently in the process of extending that protective order?
Yes, ma'am.
And has Furman ever been violent with you in the last 2 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you also have a protective order against him in the last 2 years?
Yes, ma'am.
And when was that?
August of last year.
Okay. And has he ever been violent with Sebastian or in front of Sebastian?
Yes, ma'am.
And Sebastian is the son that you and Furman have together, correct?
That is correct, ma'am. Yes.
And do you have any concerns with Mr. Gutierrez having your address and any of your personal information?
Yes, ma'am. I have actually been out of the Pasadena home since September 11th. I am staying at another location with all three of my children. Everyone is safe. Everyone is cared for. I do need to get the remainder of our belongings out of the house in Pasadena, but I do not stay there, and I do not wish to disclose where I am staying.
Because you have safety concerns regarding that, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you plan on continuing to reside in Harris County?
I believe I'm going to be going to Brazoria County, ma'am. That is going to be a more long-term location for me.
Okay, so in Harris or the contiguous counties, which means any county that touches Harris County, you plan on residing in one of those counties.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I'm not going to leave the state or go far at all. No, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, if Mr. Gutierrez knows where you live or your address, is he likely to cause the child or you any harassment, abuse, serious harm, or injury?
I would just be concerned that he would know my location and not necessarily come to where the home is, but be in the general vicinity and maybe try to see him. I would strongly hope that
Okay,
at this
listen
point
to
in
my
our life,
question, ma'am. Listen to my question. Would he likely cause the child or you any harassment, abuse, serious harm, or injury? Is he
I
likely
believe
to do that?
harassment.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Ms. Parker.
And you stated that you've been out of that home in Pasadena where he knew your address since September 11th, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And since Furman moved out on September 24th, since you guys have separated, has he given you any
August
money?
24th.
Sorry,
Ma'am,
August
August
24th.
24th.
Yes, since August 24th, has he given you any money for Sebastian?
No, ma'am.
And are you requesting retroactive child support for this past month?
Yes, ma'am, just a month.
Your Honor, I pass the witness. I have no further questions.
Mr. Gutierrez, do you have any questions of Ms. Plunkett?
I mean, is there a way to verify that that she has moved, that she has that she in fact has,
Oh, you're
moved?
asking her a question, okay?
No, oh, okay. I don't know.
Okay, ask her a question. Don't, you're not talking to me. She's on the witness stand. You have an opportunity to ask her a question if you like.
No.
All right, call your next witness, Ms. Parker.
Your Honor, I call Furman Gutierrez to the stand.
All right.
Mr. Gutierrez, do you believe at this present time that you and Ms. Plunkett would be able to effectively communicate as it relates to your son?
Yes.
Do you know who your son's doctors are?
No,
Have you ever taken your son to a doctor's appointment?
no, she's handled all the any medical things that as I would go to work and she would stay home.
Okay. And you do currently have that protective order against you at this time, correct? I can't hear you, correct?
Yes,
And are you currently facing charges for injury to a child?
yes,
And you are requesting that you be able to have a standard possession order with your son starting now, which means you would like to have him for the weekends, everything by yourself, unsupervised, correct?
yes.
And you
It
would
would,
also be, yeah,
if anything, I mean, if we could start out like at a mutual location, like a neutral, maybe like have her drop my son off at my family's house, and then that way I can see my son there, that way I don't necessarily have to see her or whatever. Um,
Your Honor, objection, non-responsive, anything after, yes.
All right, sustain.
Mr. Gutierrez, are you requesting credit for the month of September for the retroactive child support?
yes,
And why are you requesting credit?
because I don't know whether or not she's been living there or not. I mean,
And okay. And why does whether or not she was living there matter in terms of you getting credit? What do you think you deserve credit for? That's what I'm asking you to be more clear.
because if she lives there, she basically, why would I pay a mortgage and pay her child support?
So you're saying that you paid the mortgage for the month of September. You believe
Yes,
she's still living there.
yes,
And how much was the mortgage? How much is the mortgage?
1,307. I mean, if she still has things that belong to her in the residence, I mean, she technically still has things there.
Your Honor, objection to anything after the amount of
All right,
the mortgage that he paid.
sustain. I'm going to give you an opportunity to make a statement, Mr. Gutierrez, but right now you just need to listen to the questions and answer to the questions that are asked, okay?
Okay.
Your Honor, I have no further questions for him at this time.
Now, what type of possession and access is the mother requesting?
She's requesting to be sole managing conservator with
No.
visitation at the DRO.
Oh, DRO, okay. All right. Call your next witness. I'm sorry, Miss Plunkett, do you have any, I'm sorry. Miss Plunkett is the current witness and you have no further questions for her. Is that correct, Ms. Parker?
No, Mr. Furman was the current witness. Mr. Gutierrez was the current witness. I have no further questions for Mr. Gutierrez.
Okay, Miss Plunkett, do you have any questions for Mr. Gutierrez?
No, sir.
All right. Mr. Gutierrez, do you have any witnesses that you wish to present besides yourself? I'll let you make a statement, but Ms. Plunkett, do you have any other witnesses or any witnesses that you wish to present?
No, sir.
All right, and did you live in that house, Ms. Plunkett, that he's been paying the mortgage on?
As I stated, I left the residence September 11th. I do have proof as to where I have been and the fact that I have been out of the home since then. I'm able to disclose that to the court. I just choose not to disclose it to Mr. Gutierrez at this time, just, for our own safety and such. But I do still have items in the home and I do need to get them out, so.
All right. Any final argument, Ms. Parker?
Your Honor, my final argument would be that you make that you make a decision in the best interest of the child, and we think it is in the best interest to have a non-disclosure agreement, disclosure clause at this time. And that's all, Your Honor.
Mr. Gutierrez, do you have something that you want to tell me?
No.
All right. And Ms. Plunkett, do you have anything further you want to say?
I just would really like everyone to strongly consider I don't know if this would make a difference or not as far as custody. I am in the process of doing that as well. But for this, I just really do not feel comfortable with Furman having one-on-one access with our child because of his temper and how he does respond to things. And when we have been in the home together, he does not even really care for our child much. So I just really would like that to be very clear.
All right, the court finds this in the best interest of this child to appoint the mother sole managing conservator, the father's appointed possessor conservator of the possession and access at the domestic relations office. Non-disclosure is granted. No retroactive judgment is awarded. All other stipulations are approved. Anything further?
No, Your Honor, but just
No,
to be
sir.
clear, you said sole managing, he's possessory, non-disclosure, and the visitation is to take place at the domestic relations office.
Correct.
Okay.
Anything
Nothing
further?
No.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, may we be excused?
Yes.
Mr. Gutierrez, what is your email?